Hello my viewers. I want to show you something here. You know, when you rip out walls in a mobile home, that's the perfect time to inspect all of your wiring. And more than likely on an old mobile home, you're going to find problems with it. And I'm going to show you an example here. Right down there, okay? See where that wire right here, the outer insulation and even the insulation around the copper has been chewed away or something by probably a rat or squirrel, or who knows. Squirrels are really known around here to do that kind of damage. So I've traced this wire here, okay, all the way over to here, to this wall switch, okay, which powers that fan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and replace that wire from here at the wall switch, okay, and all the way to here. The plan here is to cut the wire, okay, here where it's still, well, probably like right in here, and then this is just a junction box. So I'll use that junction box to make some make the repair. I thought I had the camera rolling when I cut it, but there it is. That's pretty bad. It could be kind of dangerous, really. Next, I'm going to run that wire over to this junction box here. I was really very fortunate that this junction box happened to be where it was, because I mean, otherwise I'd have to put a junction box in there for this splice. So here I am putting the wires into the junction box, and of course here's the new wire that I ran. So that's a very tight fit, fitting two pieces of Romex in one connector, okay, but I mean, it's doable, and I did it. The newer Romex, of course, was a lot easier to strip back, where the plastic and everything, I think, on the old Romex was just hardened or something. And all I had to do here for this box was wire for wire make those connections to make the splice. Wasn't that big of a deal. And I was using these toggle wire connectors. Those become my favorite go-to type of wire connectors. I've pretty much given up on the ones that you twist. I mean, I've still got a bunch of them, but I don't really buy anymore. Okay, so now I just have to run this wire up to the switch here, okay, where it can be replaced. Okay. Alright, so since I have a plastic box here, I'm going to replace it with metal anyway. I mean, why not? Yeah. And then here comes the piece of wire here that I'm replacing. Take that out of the equation. Okay. And Let's see if I need my hammer. I might. Maybe not. All right. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this wall switch in. Now I've already installed the Romex connectors on this box because it's really a lot easier to do before you would actually screw it to the stud. There we go. Let's see, run this right up to here, like that. Okay. Go ahead and tighten these screws on this Romex connector. Just a little bit more. That's good. Okay. Alright, this is the wire here that's going to feed the switch. And then this is the wire that is going to feed up to the ceiling fan. Okay, I'll go ahead and tighten the screws here on this connector. Alright, now then. Alright, now I just take my little side cutters here and strip back some of this shielding here off the outer shielding anyway, off the Romex. There, that's good. The rest of it I can just strip back by hand pretty easy. Good. And then paper gets cut there. Okay, that's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sort of measure these two here so they're about the same length. They look about the same length. I'm connecting my grounds together right here. There we go. And I'll tuck the ground in to the box. Okay, there's my ground wire. Good. All set to go, I guess. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to strip back the neutral wires so it'll fit in the lever switch really good. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I've got the neutral wires here stripped back so they'll fit into this lever connector really good. Alright, there's one. And then I'll fit in the other one. There. Good. Okay. Alright. And that can get tucked away inside the box. Okay. So that leaves me here with just my hot black wires here, okay? Because that's what's going to get switched. Let's see, I want to make sure these are about the same size. And okay, so I'll strip back these. I'm going to put a loop here at the end of my ground wire here so that I can get it on the switch right here. Okay, like that. And then I'll just use something here to, you might have a better tool than me, but I'll just use these little side cutters just to sort of squeeze in the wire. There we go. So now I'm going to just use my 5/16 nut driver here to tighten up this little hex screw for the ground. Alright. Okay. Then, now, I don't believe I'm going to be able to get these, you know, in the little holes, okay, that are easily made for, you know, the electricians and that. Let me see if they'll actually go first. If they do, then I'll use, well, I might be able to use that one. Let me see if I can use this one. Sometimes you can't. It's like, they're made for like a number 16 wire or 14 wire. Yeah, see this, that's like, okay, here I believe I've got like a 14 wire and I brought in a number 12 wire and that's what I had. So what I'm going to do though is, not a big deal, I'm just going to, you know, put a little curl back here on my wires, just like that. Connect these directly to where the screw is on the side. Let's see here, and just to make sure that this wire is sort of, you know, curled in there really good. Yeah, I should take a Phillips here, tighten that up. Go. Okay, and then I'll just put the other wire on the other screw like that. All right. Okay. Alright. Okay, there we go. Very good. It's all nice and tight. And now, all I got to do is push these in to the box. Okay. And I can screw these right into where they fit on the box. I got that one started, so I'm going to come back over down to here, get this one started. And I think I already said that I'm going ahead and mounting these switches, okay, into the boxes, okay, already now. Even though I don't have the wall paneling up or anything yet, but that's okay. I just need to be able to have use of these wall switches in the meantime. I'll just have to pull the switches out of the box when it's time to put the wall paneling in place. That's good enough. Alright, now with this mess here, okay, this rat's nest, I already took the box out and everything was plastic so that I could inspect the wires and figure out where they feed on these switches, because this one here, I can't figure out for the life of me where this feeds to, because I mean, this one I know that's an outside light, okay, it's like a porch light. This one I have no clue. I mean, I have looked high and low to try to figure out where this feeds. I mean, I know, sure, the wire goes up here, you see, right up there, and goes up into the, in fact, it's this one here that I'm sort of grabbing. That one goes up into the ceiling and of course goes someplace, but I can't figure out what it feeds. I tried all sorts of different things. I tried some of the wall receptacles, because sometimes that's what they'll do, see, is they'll take, you know, a wall receptacle, say like one of these, okay, and have a wall switch feed it. It was sort of a way of turning a lamp on and off that you might have, say, setting on an end table beside a couch. And rather than having to turn the switch on the actual lamp, say you would turn it on a wall switch. And it was kind of a nice little feature, but that's not the case here. So this feeds something, or used to feed something, but I cannot burn that bridge completely. So I did off camera was I disconnected all those switches, and I went ahead and screwed this box to the stud, and then I went ahead and ran these wires to inside of the box. Okay, now this is the line coming in to feed power to the switches. Okay, this is sort of the mystery switch right here. That's going to the mystery switch, where I'm not too sure what in the heck this power's on and off. Well, maybe I'll find it. This line here is hot all the time, so it just gets connected to everything. And then this last one here, it's for the outdoor patio light. So now I'm just going to wire it up. So I've got all my ground wires here into a pigtail right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll tuck my ground wires into the box now. There, okay. And then I can cut this to the appropriate size. There we go. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing with all my neutral wires, is tie them all into a pigtail. Now I had to use wire nut here because I don't have a quad, or 5-way rather. I don't have any 5-way lever nuts, so, or connectors rather. So I'm kind of stuck here using the old wire nuts. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Okay, so now I have all my neutral wires into one big wire nut here. Okay, all 4 of them. If any of these wires actually happened to be a strand wire, I would have backed up and went out and got some lever nuts that I could have used, or rather, what do we want to call lever nuts? You know, lever connectors. So let me tuck this into the box. Now, I always like to buy deep is all boxes. It just doesn't make any sense at all to buy the shallows unless you really have to. You know, lack of wall space or something. All right. So next I'm going to go ahead and connect this ground wire to one of these switches. And that will then ground to the box once the switch is fastened, okay, to the box, then it'll be grounded as well. So now I have the ground screw connected to the wall switch. The next is I actually have to take the wire that comes in that feeds power to this box, that'd be this one, and connect it to into a pigtail so that I can feed power to both switches. So what I did here was I took the two wires, took the hot wire from the main feed coming into the box, and also from this wire here that just feeds power all the time, just kind of going through the box, and then I have my two pigtail wires here that's going to feed power to the switches. So that can go into the box. Just kind of get tucked in there now. See, this is why it's important to get deep boxes when you can. There's all these different, you know, wires that got to be connected and everything else. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect one of the power leads here, okay, going to the switch, and then I'm going to feed the this line out, going out to the porch light. So on this one, I was able to utilize the little slots here on the switch for the line coming in and the line going out, instead of having to use these screw fasteners. I mean, I like the screw fasteners in a sense, especially if it's going to be we'll say a 20 amp type of circuit, but this is all 15 amp, so it's not a big deal. So next, I have a different switch here. I just ran out of the 15 amp, but I have these 20 amp right here. See, they're commercial, okay? So the difference here really is going to be that I can fasten the wires a lot easier onto the switch, okay, onto these screws, because they've got these like lugs here. Unlike, say, this 15 amp, you don't really have the same kind of a lug that as you do, say, on these commercial switches. So I'm going to go ahead and put, say, that there, and then let's see. All right, and then I can go ahead and screw these right in there. Okay, and then I'll do the other one here. And strip that wire back. For some reason I didn't strip it back yet. No big deal. I can do it right now. Okay, so I'll put this right in there where it goes, and then screw this in. Okay, so there it is. Different kind of ways that these can be fastened to the wires. different switches. They'll certainly work in the same box and everything. It's just, well, these commercial wall switches are about $1 more a piece, but I like them better anyway. I don't really buy these small, inexpensive 15 amp switches anymore. I just happen to have some left over from a different job, but these are what I buy from now on. So now I just have to put these, well, I would put them in there, but you see right now this is the plate that I have to have. Put it on there yet. Okay. I didn't put this plate on yet because I wasn't really certain about how I was going to run all these wires. But now I think I do know. I wasn't going to connect that one switch until I knew where it went. But I'm thinking, I'm just going to connect it, and if it turns out that it does nothing, then so what, right? Not a big deal, no harm, no foul. Sure enough though, I'll figure out where it goes at some point during this project, and I don't want to have to backtrack on everything. So I'll just go ahead and install it now, and then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so go ahead and push some of these wires back into the box so I can fasten these screws a little bit in place. Alright, I'm not going to tighten these down all the way because I'm going to have to remove these anyway. You see, I might tighten this one down a little bit more. Okay, I don't want to tighten all these wall switches all the way down. They're in pretty good, but I don't want to tighten. It's pointless to tighten them down all the way right now because I have to remove the switches out, pull them out anyway at some point when I need to put the wall board in. So there it is. Now, can you tell the difference here? I don't know if you can tell the difference in color, or you can tell, you know, especially after the wall plate is put on, or wall cover. I doubt that you'd be able to really tell the difference. You know, something that might want to know about is that, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can always do when you're renovating a mobile home. One is you can always pull out staples, and there certainly is an abundance of them, and it has to be done. So if you're waiting on materials or something like that, this is a good way to kill that time. So thank you very much for watching. You don't have to like it, but I appreciate if you subscribe and comment. Of course, there's also sweeping. There's a lot of sweeping involved. Anytime you do work on a mobile home, okay, or probably any place really, home, you know, there's a lot of sweeping involved. There's a lot of debris that just seems to come out of nowhere almost, it seems like. A lot of it's even dirt. I mean, it's just crazy. But the sweeping has to be done. So that's another thing you can always do. Like I was saying, sweeping is a very important part of any renovation because you don't want a bunch of junk in the way all the time. I like to watch a bunch of different YouTubers that do renovations. Usually I really enjoy watching the married couples that work on properties that they have, where you usually have the guy doing a lot of the renovating work and his wife usually somewhere in the background sweeping or pulling staples out of the wood.